Julie's tip of the day, be nice to children. First thing to keep in mind is to start the meal early enough. So if they're too hungry, they're going to be crabby, they won't be able to focus as well on the task of preparing to eat their meal. They won't be as patient waiting for food, waiting for everybody to be ready. They might get a little, like we say, hangry. That'll raise the stress level for them as an individual, and if you have several kids feeling that way, it can raise the stress level for the entire classroom, so we want to avoid that. So if it's been more than 2 hours since most of the children have eaten, chances are that they're going to be hungry, and especially if you have a lot of non-verbal toddlers and have a younger group, they won't be able to say, I'm hungry. They'll just be showing you by being more irritable than normal, not as patient with you, not as patient with their friends. You have to start the process of preparing for the meal in advance of that 2-hour period. So it's not 2 hours, well now we're going to start getting ready, because especially at the beginning, it's going to take longer to prepare for the meal. So like here at the beginning of the school year, we start a good 20 minutes before I think the children will actually be hungry. So that gives us time to, in a slow and relaxed manner, wash our hands, get their placemats to the table, set their spot, choose their beverage, and just be seated and relaxed at that 2-hour mark so that the process is unrushed and more pleasant, and therefore everyone is in a better mood when they're sitting down to the table. The second key is how you announce that it's time to get ready for a snack. So we want this to be more like it would be at home, you know, where you kind of go around and say, hey, it's time to eat, please wash your hands. And then people begin to pack up their work, and that'll take each child a different amount of time, and then they'll go to the sink and wash their hands. Alternatively, you could gather everyone, which is what I do at my school. We have our gathering time right before we eat, and not everyone has to gather, but most of them do. And then when the last song is over, we have like a song that ends our gathering time, and we'll say, and you know, now it's time to wash your hands, and some will go right away to the sink, some will flip through books for a while, some might even start at work while they're waiting. And it's not this mad rush to the sink. So we want this to be, like I said, more like inviting your family to come to dinner, not like standing on the porch with a cowbell, you know, having everyone come in from the harvest to quickly wash their hands and eat fast, right? It's just a slow gathering, and that keeps the mood peaceful and light. Even with a gentle invitation, some children will do that mad rush, but at least you set them up that that's not the expectation. Like, I'm ringing a bell, hurry everybody, wash your hands and get to the table. We've got to eat and get back to business. You know, it's not something we're doing to get out of the way. Remember, the meal time, especially in a toddler environment, is just part of the curriculum. We're teaching them how ideally mealtime should feel, not just teaching them how to eat or set their spot, but like what is the mealtime like, so that hopefully they will have that expectation in their lives as they grow up, that mealtime is something to be enjoyed and not rushed through. Third is to have a very clear routine of what is to happen. First will be washing of the hands. Second is choosing your placemat. Now in my toddler Montessori classroom, the children set their own spot. So after they've washed their hands, they go and they get their placemat. And their placemat is the marker for their spot. So they don't have assigned seats, but they do need to claim a spot with a placemat. So they can't choose a chair, this is where I'm sitting. They can't say, I'm sitting by Miss Julie, or I'm sitting by Jody. They just need to choose their spot with a placemat. And so after they have their placemat in front of their chair, then it's their chair. And so that eliminates, eventually, once they learn the routine, that eliminates fighting over spots, right? That's my spot, because if you don't use placemats You know, you could use their cups, just some kind of marker that is going to be where I sit. And I do recommend not having assigned seats because it's nice to have conversations with different people and we're not shouting over each other during mealtime. So I recommend this marker technique. You'll want to have a variety of placemats. If they're all the same, that will be more confusing. So we have 3 different patterns of placemats. And during non-pandemic times, they would go ahead and set their full spot, but right now we're pre-plating the food for them. So what to do while you're waiting? I go ahead and pour their beverages so they have a little something to do. They're just chatting, enjoying their beverage, having a nice time at the table while they're waiting for the rest of their friends to gather. And what do you do if a child isn't getting ready, isn't coming? Well, it depends. If they're working, just make sure they know that the meal is being served. This is one time where we might want to interrupt them if we know they'll be crabby if they don't eat soon. So just make sure they're aware there's something to eat. If they're just kind of, you know, diddle-daddling, then I go ahead and start a younger child that just needs all of those models of people being prepared. Like, they're just not ready to focus in on that meal until a good number of the group is at the table, and then they'll join. And other times, it's an older child who knows it's only going to take, 20 seconds to wash their hands and 10 seconds to set their table. And so they know they don't want to sit, so they'll just wait until a good number of the group are at the table, and then they'll join. But if they're just, totally choosing, well, I'm not going to come, then we just go ahead and start, and they'll come when they're ready to eat. We don't force children to come to the table because I want the meal time to be, something they appreciate and enjoy, not something they're coerced into doing. So once everyone is seated, it's nice to take a moment to gather everyone's focus on the fact that we're all here, we're all going to begin a meal. So in my classroom, we do say a prayer. Now I know at most schools, prayer is not part of the mealtime custom. I do recommend you find something to do. It could be just to take a moment to say, oh, look, it's a lovely table. I'm so grateful that someone made flowers for the table today. I'm so grateful for the cook. Just an expression of gratitude, and aren't we fortunate to have good food to eat. Some people sing a song together. Some schools just say something as simple as bon appetit, and that kind of focuses everybody. Now, if the children have come to the table, but they're still a little squirrely, you can have them do some deep breathing. At our school, before we pray, we do a deep breath through the mouth, and then 2 through the nose. Well, I don't need to model that for you. Anyway, we do some breathing before we pray. So you could do some breathing before your gathering statements, and that just is a good part of that routine, because remember, children thrive on routine. They love knowing what to expect next. If despite your best role modeling and intentions, things do get a little amped up, a little loud, a little, rowdy as they're preparing for the meal, what I do is I sing a calming song. Now, I don't sing it at them, like it's not a performance. I'll just start singing a song to myself. The one I sing is I've Got Peace Like a River. But whatever song you like to sing that is calming, because you're just gonna sing it to yourself and they'll listen and they'll get a little calm, and it'll just kind of bring them back to the community and out of whatever headspace they're in that has them feeling flustered or agitated. And the other nice thing about singing is it's really hard to feel stressed yourself if you're singing a peaceful song. So it's good for the children, it's good for you. So if you do all those things to make the gathering time, the table setting, the beginning of the meal calm and relaxed, then generally the meal is just after that, calm and relaxed. It's all in the lead up to the meal. Thanks for watching till the end. Since you did, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and here are some more videos for you.